I'm about to reveal the top 10 virtual wholesaling markets for 2021. That is right. I'm literally giving up my secrets. I know I've always said that I never want to give away some of the secrets out there on the best virtual wholesaling markets, but it is 100% true. I decided if I made a top 10 list from what I've seen from virtual wholesalers and actual physical wholesalers, the top 10 markets for virtual wholesaling, I feel like I have to give it out. I think just there's so many people struggling right now. And if I give this top 10 list, it's not really going to give away too much. If I say, this city is the best out there. Really, if I gave a top 10 list, it'll be really easy, especially for people watching me internationally that are trying to get into virtual wholesaling. I get so many requests, and I decided, you know what? Let me just do a top 10 list. It'll be very easy for someone who's just trying to get new into virtual wholesaling can watch this and really understand the top 10 markets so you can be as prepared as possible and find the hottest markets for virtual wholesaling for 2021. And if you don't know me, I am Zach Ginn of Flip with Rick, and basically in this YouTube channel, I'm trying to help you make your first $100,000 in wholesaling real estate. In this video, it will be virtual wholesaling real estate absolutely for free. You should not be paying for any gurus, coaching, mentorships out there. I give everything out for free. So if you can, do me a favor, please smash that like button and subscribe. Helps the YouTube algorithm so we can put these gurus out of business. Without further ado, let's get into the top 10 virtual wholesaling markets. Quick honorable mention. These are some of the honorable mentions that did not make the list, but they're absolute still killer markets. Oklahoma City, Orlando, Florida, and Birmingham, Alabama. So now we got some of the honorable mentions through. Let's start it out. What is number 10? Surprisingly for you, this is going to be probably the only market I'll ever recommend in the state of California, but it's really that Central Valley, Fresno, California area. That area right now, there's some top killers out there for wholesaling real estate, and they're absolutely doing great. The reason why I like this area so well is because it's working class, it's blue collar, but the prices are under $300,000, especially in the state of California. The prices are good enough where you can still make really good wholesaling real estate fees, and there's plenty of wholesalers out there that'll collaborate with you and do deals in Fresno, California. Also, it's pretty good for creative financing, so overall, I think that's a really good market to be in. Number 9 here is Cleveland, Ohio. That is right. Cleveland, Ohio is an absolute killer market. There are so many 6 to 7 figure wholesalers out there. It's a little more saturated than I'm comfortable with, but if you choose that market, you should be able to get deals pretty easily. Not the end of the world. I think Cleveland, Ohio is an absolute killer market, and it's pretty good. Honorable mention, it was between Cleveland and Columbus here because I didn't want to get too many Ohios in here, but really, I think Cleveland's got the edge because I just see so many more 7-figure wholesalers in there. But there is 7-figure wholesalers in Columbus, Ohio too. I just think it's a little too saturated. Number 8 here is Memphis, Tennessee / Arkansas area. So if you know, Memphis, Tennessee is on the border with Arkansas. So that general area is really good for wholesaling real estate. Memphis is a tad saturated, but the prices are so good there. You can absolutely just clean up in Memphis, Tennessee. There is going to be some competition, but if you know what you're doing and you know how to get with your sellers, you should absolutely easily make 6 to 7 figures in wholesaling, in virtual wholesaling real estate easily in that area. At number 7 here is San Antonio, Texas. Yes, I know for a fact there's at least 4 that I know in San Antonio, Texas that are 7-figure wholesalers. Absolute killer market for there. It's a huge population. It's very spread out. It's actually a really good one. You're going to see a theme on this list that Texas is prime for wholesaling real estate in 2021, especially doing virtual wholesaling. There's so many people that are willing to collaborate with you, and there's just so much cash buyers there. It's a very easy one to do. So the first one in Texas is San Antonio. Next here, we're going to go a little bit east here. We're going to go to Houston, Texas. Now, Houston, Texas is one of the most saturated markets out there, but listen to me right now. Houston, Texas, there is so many 6-figure wholesalers out there that are like 21, 22-year-old kids just absolutely destroying it in Houston, Texas. There's guys virtually wholesaling in Houston, Texas that are doing really well. It's so easy to collaborate with people there. It's one of the best ones to find runners. The population's high enough. You will not have you can easily have an endless supply of motivated sellers. So many deals out there. I absolutely love Houston, Texas. It's got that Southern culture going on. It's a great one to do if you're really personable with people. I think you can absolutely kill it for virtual wholesaling in Houston, Texas. Number 5 here. So these markets are a little smaller, but there's a lot of deals. This is where we're getting in the territory of the deals to population ratio, the deals to saturation. So there's less wholesalers and more deals starting from 5 to 1. This is where most guys are going to absolutely kill me for making this video, but I think I absolutely need to say it. So number 5 here is Greenville, South Carolina. The reason why Greenville, South Carolina has been an absolute killer virtual wholesaling market is because of the huge population inflow that has come into Greenville, South Carolina. There's so many guys out there that are absolutely killing it in South Carolina. I've done actually some interviews with guys in Greenville, South Carolina that are just destroying it. Got one guy, he was 19 years old. He's making $100,000 in wholesaling real estate in Greenville, South Carolina. In this video above me, that's my interview with him. Greenville, South Carolina is absolute killer market, and there's plenty of guys out there doing virtual wholesaling in Greenville. Number 4 here, this is a weird one. I don't think a lot of people have heard about this one, but it's an absolute killer market, and that's Onslow County, North Carolina. It's in that Jacksonville, North Carolina region. It's on the eastern part of North Carolina. Absolute really killer prices there. There's some really good guys out there that are doing very well in that area. I know about 3 on the top of my head that are pushing 7 figures. They haven't hit it yet, but so many 6-figure guys out there all doing it virtually. I'm telling you that Onslow County, North Carolina market's really good. The population's only 200,000 in that area, so it's not the biggest one out there. It's a little tougher to do, but overall, I think that's a really killer market. If you want to get into virtual wholesaling, that's an absolute killer market. North Carolina just lately has been absolute killing it with wholesaling for virtual wholesaling. I do a lot of virtual wholesaling deals in North Carolina, and I can tell you, absolute killer. In addition to Onslow County, if you're struggling and you actually want to be in North Carolina, do really good deals, but the population's too low, I think an honorable mention also, just to add, if you're looking in that area, is Charlotte. Charlotte, North Carolina is absolute killer. There's so many great banks and businesses moving to Charlotte. I think that's a really good virtual wholesaling market to do. Also, a lot more saturated, but it's very in that vicinity of that North Carolina that you can absolutely do really well in. Number 3 here, you're gonna see a theme here on virtual wholesaling, which places in the Southeast have been absolute killing it lately with virtual wholesaling. So what I can tell you right now is Central Georgia has just been absolutely booming for virtual wholesaling. Wholesaling in general in Central Georgia has been really good. It's that Macon, Georgia area, really good for virtual wholesaling, really good for wholesaling in general. You really can't go wrong in that area. The price points are very low, but there is cash buyers in there willing to buy, and there's really a steady amount of deals, and there's not a lot of wholesalers out there, a lot of virtual wholesalers really killing it, really going in there and really saturating that market. So I can recommend that Central Georgia region, really good. It's really good if you're like in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's just too much saturation for you. Go down south to Macon, Georgia, that Central Georgia area with decent populations. I think you can absolutely clean up. Number two here. This is one that people have probably heard about it, maybe, but they don't really talk about too much. This is another population within that 200,000 population that you can really niche it out and still make 7 figures. It's a little tougher. This one is in the great state of North Carolina, and that is Fayetteville. Fayetteville, North Carolina is an absolute just destructive market. There are so many wholesalers out there. The population's very low, but there's so many 6-figure wholesalers in there. I think if you virtually try to get into there, you should do very well. A lot of motivated sellers are very comfortable over there for actually getting deals locked up. It's just, for virtual wholesaling, it's an absolute killer market. A lot of inflows coming in that area, a lot of very cheap real estate which you can wholesale. You're not going to get $50,000 to $60,000 fees there. Really, you can come in and out, do a lot of those $10,000 to $15,000 deals, which are absolutely amazing in there. I've seen $30,000 deals in there, but Fayetteville, North Carolina, we've done some in there. It's an absolute killer market. I just hate giving away the secret sauce, more or less, but I feel like there's so many people that need it. So Fayetteville, North Carolina is an absolute killer virtual wholesaling market. Here we go. Why do I have 2 ones out? The number 1 virtual wholesaling market for 2021. Now, I'm going to tease you a little bit here, But remember, the number one virtual wholesaling market, there's not like a general number one, like it's the best one out there. But this, in my opinion, is the best one I have found. It is always subject to change. This is going to be in the Southeast again. People are going to absolutely kill me for saying this, but the number one virtual wholesaling market for 2021 is Knoxville, Tennessee. That is right. Knoxville, Tennessee is an absolute amazing market to get into virtual wholesaling for 2021. Now, unfortunately, me making this video, there's probably going to be 15 new wholesalers going into Knoxville, and there's plenty of saturation there. But I have found that sellers are just so comfortable just signing a contract virtually, bringing cash buyers through. They're a lot nicer, and they're just, honestly, they're a lot better than if you deal with someone like New Jersey who's a little more rude. Prices are pretty cheap. There's also a lot of good land deals in Knoxville, Tennessee. I think that the Knox County area is really good. The population's really good. It's definitely a little more of a college town, with the University of Tennessee being there. But really, I think Knoxville is an absolute killer virtual wholesaling market. So that is it, guys. That is my top 10 virtual wholesaling markets for 2021. Do me a favor and let me know if you're in any of these markets. What markets did I miss out on? I'd really be curious because I spent some time actually trying to compile this list and seeing what's the best, what's not. I left a lot of really good ones out, but really for top 10, there's honestly more than 20 to 30, even probably 40 to 50 great virtual wholesaling markets for you to be in. There's not one cure-all virtual wholesaling market that will make you a killer. I think if you choose one of these top 10s, it's really hard to go wrong. So please let me know what market you think is really good for virtual wholesaling, what market you're in. And lastly, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. Thank you guys so much, and God bless.